What's up, people? How you doing? My name is Ryan Milkey. Welcome to the final stretch, I would say. This is the final three movies in this franchise. I think. I could be wrong, but I think it's the final three. How you doing? Uh, cool. Just checking the private chat. Oh, damn it. What a way to kick off my live by telling me that as soon as I go live. We'll get into that. Hi, guys. How you doing? So, yeah, today we're talking about The Force Awakens, the reboot to the Star Wars franchise, the sequels. Yeah, the sequels. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. We've got Umpty Scratch. How you doing, buddy? We've got Baby Ice. Thank you for being here. Well done. How you doing? And Umpty Scratch is asking if I'm on OBS for this one. I'm not, but I'm currently working on changing stuff over to the OBS. Umpty tried the new amazing features to mine today and crashed it, and fixing the reinstall and hoping I get a new feature. Yeah, I saw some people on YouTube talking about I updated my OBS so you didn't have to, and as soon as I see those kind of things, I'm like, yeah, I'll wait a bit before I update stuff. But guys, we're here to talk about Star Wars, and I can't talk about Star Wars on my own and to do it justice that it probably should need. So for that, we need to use the Force, and we need to call on a real good Jedi, all-knowing, all-powerful being. Although I thought Headless might have been the powerful being in the universe, but then I saw a guy called Supreme Leader Snoke. What the hell is that, dude? But I'm going to ask Headless that himself. So without further ado, please welcome my amazing co-host. His name is Headless Ned Stark. And congratulations for passing me on subscribers, my friend.
What's going on, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
I think we're tied, aren't we?
Well, yeah. But I'll probably lose one by this stream, so... I've got some questionable things to say about this movie, so yeah, let's do it. And Baby Ice, let's clear this up. Yeah, how about them Chiefs? Let's go Chiefs! Great game last night. Awesome. Game. Yeah, loved it. It was good fun. Yeah, great game. Second time in a row that I watched the Super Bowl. Watched them lose last year, the Chiefs, and then come and win this year. I think I'm right in saying that.
No, it might be.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So there you go. Yeah, that's when I watched them. Derpy Entertainment, welcome in, my friend. Yes, how about them Zebras coming from Steelers fan? I don't get that.
He's talking about the refs.
I
don't know, man. It was a questionable call. I get it, but his hand wasn't on his waist. But I don't know if you call that right there. You know, knowing that the game is on the line. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened, you know.
We could probably fill a whole live stream talking about the Super Bowl because I have some questionable things from that. Like, I don't understand why he stopped on the line like that at the very end. I know that if he'd done the touchdown, he would have gave possession over to the other team and they could have probably come back against him in the final couple of seconds. But still, it was really annoying, and I didn't like how it ended like that. It kind of took away the competition side of it and made it into just like a rule thing.
It is a real thing, and I'll tell you what, dude. The Browns lost a game like that this year because our running back ran it in for a touchdown. That put us up by 14 points. No, that put us up by 13, and the other team came back and they scored a touchdown, did an onside kick, got the ball, scored another touchdown, and won the game by 1 point. If he goes down, if he takes a knee at the 1 yard line, they run the clock. That doesn't happen. It's absolutely crazy. That's what teams do now.
Yeah, no, I completely disagreed with it. For me, it took away the sportsmanship of the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a little bit disappointing and a very anticlimactic ending to quite a real good game. And, you know, what's with the two most sacked teams in the entire tournament this year only having one sack in the entire game?
Yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy.
That was pretty crazy, right? Ned, how in the world do you pay $230 million to someone like your quarterback?
I didn't pay it. Dude, who knows, man? We'll see what happens next year. I mean,
yeah,
they need to get a receiver. They need to bulk up the line. They need to bulk up the offensive line and defensive line. We need a freaking linebacker that can actually run. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it was a lost year. I almost wish that they didn't play him, and we would at least had his eligibility for another year. Now we lost the year, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy, but it was fun. But yeah, we're here to talk about Star Wars tonight, guys. The Force Awakens. My first time watching this because I've seen one of these three movies, and the one that I have seen has got the Porgs in it. Don't know which one that is. I'll probably be surprised when I come across it. Either sometime, it'll be next week because yeah, we'll finish it this time next week. Headless, I want to ask you. As soon as I watched the movie today, what do you think of this movie? What's your initial thoughts on this? What was it? How were you hyped when it was first announced before you even seen it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was really excited that we finally get more Star Wars. And the trailer. I remember exactly where I was with the trailer. I was in Starbucks. We were in downtown Chicago. It was I think it was Black Friday, if I remember. So it was a Friday after Thanksgiving, and I remember it getting released. And I told my wife, I'm like, I need to go get some Wi-Fi. And so we ran to Starbucks, got coffee, and I'm just waiting for the trailer to drop, just sitting there, and then it dropped. We must have watched it like 6 times. And
Nice.
I liked the trailer. I thought it was pretty good. I was super pumped though, man. I mean, I saw this movie in the theater 4 times. It's probably it was the most well, Empire. Yeah, Empire I only saw it 3 times because it came out when I was a kid, but I saw it twice in the special edition. So this movie I've seen more times than any other Star Wars movie in the theater.
Derpy, definitely. That's what we want for the people in the chat here. Feel free to let us know your favorite rankings. Go for it. We have ours as well. So towards the end of this live stream, you'll be able to see where we have ranked everything so far. We have 2 more. I've given Headless my score for this one already, so he could prepare the slide. I'm not sure what his is, but I'm sure we'll get it a little bit later. I probably been a bad host for this show because I haven't seen the trailer for this movie. Maybe I should watch the movies and then go back and watch the trailers and see how they correlate.
Yeah.
How long was it from the prequels ending to you getting this movie? How long was the wait?
So, in real years?
Yeah.
Not in movie years. So let's see. Last prequel was 2005, and this came out in 2016. So
11 years.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so I can understand the hype that it had. I know I did a little bit of digging. This was one of the highest grossing movies in North America. Like held quite a lot. It beat Titanic. It beat all those kind of stuff. So it's pretty crazy because I really didn't enjoy it. And we'll get into it. I'm sure we will. I wrote a couple of things down here, but I said to you backstage that this movie, okay, 11 years that we had to wait, or the Star Wars franchise had to wait for the continuation of a story. But yeah, for me, it completely ignores everything prequel. This movie references nothing prequel in my eyes, and is literally a rerun of A New Hope. I think that somewhere on the writers' room they were like, how do we reboot Star Wars? Well, okay, let's give them nostalgia. Let's make all those fans that love the original series love this one too by just throwing it in their face. And I do have quite a few notes that support the fact, but I don't know. Do you get the same sentiment? Because you kind of know where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Anti-Blaze.
I understand where you're coming from for sure. I mean, my biggest issue with it was the circular base. Like, do we really need to have a 3rd Death Star? Because that's basically what it was. They just made it bigger. I wish now that we know more information about it, because Starkiller Base is Ilum, where that's where the kyber crystals are found. That's why it's so much stronger because they made it out of the planet. I wish they would explain that in the movie. Then it would have been okay. So knowing that, it makes me okay with what they did. I just wish it was explained in the actual movie.
So this is why I like doing these things, because I had no idea. I assumed that they just built it in space again. So you're telling me that they dug into the planet and made it into a base?
Yeah, the planet of Ilum, that's where in the Clone Wars, that's where Yoda takes all the younglings to get their kyber crystals for their lightsabers. So what they did is they took Ilum and they made that into the powerful base because that's where all the kyber crystals were housed. Again, this is information that I wish the show or the movie would have went into, and why they didn't, I don't know. it's really unfortunate that you have to find this stuff out after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
But
And
that
and
does.
I do
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just going to say I do want to preface that I'm not shitting on this movie in the way that you think I'm shitting on this movie. I have my thoughts that I've laid out that it's connected to A New Hope because I'm watching it this structured way, one movie every week. I would never usually watch Star Wars like this.
Yeah.
It's because my mind is working like that. I did enjoy the movie on the standpoint of if I'd gone and bought a ticket and sat in a movie theater, I probably would have had a good time. The sounds were good, the graphics were good. It was okay. It just, when I'm trying to connect it to a storyline that we're breaking down and reviewing, it just fell flat, completely flat. And I don't want it to come across that I'm always shitting on this franchise, because I'm not. But yeah, I think the best days are definitely behind us, and maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. I just know that I don't think I enjoyed the one that I watched at the movie theaters with the Porgs, so I don't know where it's gonna go. But yeah, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, the one with the Porgs is the next one, is Last Jedi. So if you've seen that one, I'll be curious to see what you think about this movie after you watch the next one. Because, for me, The Last Jedi makes this movie a lot better, because that's how much I hate The Last Jedi, because it ruins everything. Like this movie for me is actually pretty high on my list, to be honest with you. The reason why is that I do like BB-8. It's probably my second favorite droid. Even though it's a little kitty, I think it's hilarious. I think it's great. I like Rey in this movie a lot. I like that it's not explained why she's so powerful. But again, that's not that was so what JJ was trying to do here is set up a story for a trilogy. And this is the biggest issue with this, is that there was no story, unfortunately.
It was A New Hope.
Every single part of this movie is completely ignored in the next movie, and that's why I'm saying, like, next weekend I'll be curious to see if you still have this ranked so low. Like, you have this ranked as your least favorite movie. Like, this movie's way better than 2 out of the 3 prequels. This movie is way better than Solo. I mean, there's 3 movies right there. I understand when people say that it is a rehash, but you have to start somewhere with new characters. And I mean, again, the killer base, and like you said, the droid with the little map key.
Yeah, let me go through my little my little note. Just so this was really comically how I wrote this down, because I was obviously trying to match it with the show, but this is what I saw. So I'm going to go through these and just bear with me a little bit. So I wrote down a force sensitive lead character from a desert planet that dreams of a better life, Luke Skywalker. Uh-huh. Some really important story plot hidden in some droid, R2-D2 and Leia.
It's not that Luke is dreaming of a better life. It's that he earns for adventure, and his uncle and aunt keep him so grounded, and it's almost like he goes against them because they keep it grounded. It's like I wanted a Ford Mustang when I was 16 years old, and my stepdad's like, "Yeah, no, you're gonna get a '88 Escort with an AM radio only with no power steering." Of course, I wanted something a lot better than that. What I'm saying? It's kind of the same situation where he wanted to keep Luke away from all that because they know who his father is. Rey, on the other hand, I don't know if she's necessarily. I think she's just trying to make it by, and she doesn't know anything about her past. I don't think she's earning for adventure. I mean, I don't think she's asking for it, but I think I think they do portray her as a pretty strong female, just because of the fact that she does take it on herself to help at their meeting Finn. So it's not quite the same. I totally see what you're saying, but I don't.
A powerful bad guy with a mask, a red lightsaber, and a bad temper.
Yeah, but again, that's his grandpa.
I know, but I had no explanation into who these people were. I was just thrown into this movie and given these characters,
right?
With the remembrance of what we've just watched on the original trilogy. A cantina full of questionable characters and strange music. It did seem like a ripoff. We have a main female character getting captured and taken to a giant star base that can destroy planets, followed by a rescue mission to go and get her out of there. Then if there's time, there's a bunch of starships in a trench run trying to go on a weak point of the base and blow it up. The lightsaber death of an old mentor, witnessed by the lead character. Luke sees Obi-Wan go down by Vader. Rey watches
Han.
Han Solo die in this movie, which don't even get me started on that. that was like, what the hell? I know from real life world, he only signed this movie so because they were going to kill him off. So I understand it, but it wasn't the best of storylines. And yeah, that was just a couple of the things that I wrote down, and then I have. I don't understand that it took us all these movies. We've been through what, 6 movies, maybe 7 or 8 movies now, and now they turn a stormtrooper rogue, and they try and tell us that stormtroopers are real people. And all the way through these franchises, I've just seen them as the cannon fodder. They're the ones that always get killed,
Right.
you know. And then they turn this one guy. He has this epiphany and wants to. What did I put here? Seriously, they used to be cannon fodder for the franchise, but now we move into where stormtroopers are people too. Finn stops being a stormtrooper, but then has to kill loads of stormtroopers. It's like they humanized stormtroopers, but then he had to kill them.
Yeah. I mean,
It was funny, but yeah, let me catch up with the chat. Go ahead.
I mean, it's been done before. It's it hasn't been done in the movies. In the game, in Battlefront, it's either Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2. I think it's Battlefront 2. One of the characters is a TIE fighter pilot, and she goes to the Alliance. We actually did see it in Rogue One with Bodhi, because Bodhi he's a Imperial, and he switches sides. We see it in Clone Wars. We see it in Rebels. I mean, so we've definitely seen it before, but the first time, for the most part, first time in film. Even though in Rogue One, I guess Bodhi does, we just don't see him do it, but we know that he defers, back over to him.
So Derpy gave us his countdown. So yeah. I'm guessing these 1 Empire, 2.
Revenge of the Sith.
Go ahead. You'll probably know these anecdotes better than me.
Yeah, so 1 is Empire, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, Phantom Menace. 7 is
Force Awakens.
8 would be Attack of the Clones. 9 Solo. 10 Rise of Skywalker, and then the last one is the ship movie.
10 Rise of Skywalker. 50 million piles of elephant, and the last Airbender, Dragon Ball Evolution, The Pit of Hell. Then 11, The Last Jedi. Favorite. Okay, thanks, Derpy. Yeah, they're Empire. A lot of people like Empire, don't they? So, what's up, Charles? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. Umpty says, I like The Force Awakens the best of the 3.
I agree.
Okay.
Not hard.
Yeah, Derpy, we saw your rankings.
Yeah, we saw it. So it's hard to talk so much about this while I have seen the Last Jedi and what they do. So let's just go through like this. What are the questions that they left at the end of this movie? So there's a ton of different questions. Okay, and after leaving the theater, I was so pumped. I'm like, yes, we're gonna get like some old school stuff. We're gonna get all this knowledge that we've been wondering about. So number 1, start with the lightsaber, right? How did Maz Kanata get the lightsaber? It was last time we saw the lightsaber was cut off his hand. That was 30 years ago in Star Wars years, right? 30 years ago. So how did she get it? Why is it calling to Rey? Like, those are 2 big questions. Like, okay, let's see what happens. Like, I can't wait to see. Is Finn Force sensitive? Because in all the trailers, they made it seem like Finn was going to be the Jedi in this, and they switched.
Did they?
They did, because he's really the only one. If you go back and look at the trailers, he's the only one you ever see with that blue lightsaber. Rey is never holding it. You never see her. Now, after the fact, you did, and when the movie dropped, then you were seeing promos with Rey holding the lightsaber. But in all of the trailers and stuff, Rey, you never see Rey with that blue lightsaber. It's always Finn. So people are always like, oh, Finn, and then after the movie, people are like, well, is he Force sensitive or not? Because he was using the lightsaber. Now, granted, we've seen a couple other characters use lightsabers, but not in battle. Like we talked about.
Yeah, I was shocked. That he was just picked up a lightsaber and starts fighting the main bad guy. I was like, what?
Yeah, and again, so like that was a big question going into the next movie. Obviously, at the end when she hands Luke when she's passing the lightsaber on to Luke, that was awesome. I thought that was a perfect ending for this movie. I thought it was perfect. Like I couldn't have wrote. I mean, if you're not going to have the hero of Star Wars in the movie, and that's how you end it, that's how you make an ending, and that's how you get people to come see the next movie.
Yeah, I'll
So,
give them that. Yeah,
like,
to start off a trilogy, it was a great ending.
yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and I was pissed that Luke wasn't in it. I mean, I was so pissed, but I'm like, oh, but look what they just did. Now we're just gonna see him whoop ass. That's what I was thinking. In Legends, I mean, that's all he does is whoop ass. We saw what he did in Mandalorian.
That was a different age, Luke, right?
Well, yeah, that was 5 years after the fact. This is 25 years, but still, I mean, we saw Obi-Wan kick some ass as an old guy. I mean,
Yeah.
Not flipping around like he used to, right?
Speaking of flipping around, welcome in Flipcake Designs. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on?
Hey, Fungo.
But yeah, so I mean, and there's more. I mean, there's more questions than that, but those are the big ones. Obviously, everyone wanted to know who Rey's parents were. Like that was obviously a big question. Like, who's Rey? Who's Rey's parents? Is it really Han? Is it Luke? Is she a Kenobi possibly? All of those would have been great answers. Where they going with it was terrible. It didn't even make sense. And you probably don't even know, so I won't ruin that because you don't even know yet.
I haven't got a clue. I thought she was a Jedi. I thought she was related to Luke in some way, or she seemed to be. She seemed to be really weird, like interactions with Leia. So I don't know. It seemed weird. Yeah, I kind of found this movie to be. I wrote in my notes a movie full of perfect coincidences.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely flaws. Like okay, so those are the questions. So let's go over the flaws. The things I really hated. I didn't like that they rehashed with the Starkiller base until I found out it was Ilum, and it made sense then. Like, it made sense. Okay, if you're gonna take over a whole planet and make it a starship station or whatever, star station I guess it would be called. It makes sense. Like, and that's why it's so big. Like, in that one scene, we see it destroy like how many planets at once. Like, okay, so it makes sense after you know after you know. It's the problem is that it just wasn't explained, and I think that's what the big downfall is. General Hux, I can't stand that character, and it's funny too because I love the actor. I think he's awesome in all his other roles. I just think that he's overacting, and it doesn't.
Is that the ginger dude?
Yeah, it doesn't even seem real. That's Gleason. What's his first name?
I recognize the actor, but watching the movie, I can't wait for him to be choked out or killed.
It's just a terrible character, and they could have made. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I like the First Order speech though. That was very good.
Yeah, that's like his only good line. Captain Phasma, Brienne.
I can't say nothing bad against her.
But I mean, the character's just like blah. Like, you have a sweet ass stormtrooper in this sweet armor that they can't even get blasted. Number one, why are they not making that for all the stormtroopers? Like, why did our stormtroopers take one bullet and they're dead? And
so did the blasters bounce off her?
Yeah, blasters are bouncing off of her because of the chrome. But I mean, I mean, it's like, why? That's so that's a little silly. I get it. And I mean, that was honestly just to sell the character. But she doesn't really do anything. I mean, it's cool that her and Finn's interactions in the movie, but it's almost like a bickering, like just go do it in the corner and come back to us when you're done. It was I didn't love that character either.
Do we see more of Captain Phantasma?
Where she left? She left in the garbage chute, right?
Yeah.
They throw it down in the garbage chute or whatever.
Yeah, more nostalgia, but yeah, they threw it down the garbage chute.
And that's fine. That's an Easter egg. There's nothing wrong with it. A little Easter
there
egg.
Isn't anything wrong with it, but it was just I'm just going to point them out because it just did it. It felt like it was forced. The Force Awakens, and they were forcing it. It felt like they were forcing it on me. So I get it. It's cool though, dude. Yeah. Chrome is super tough. Yeah, super expensive Funko Pops too.
That's right.
And don't forget, guys, Baby Ice is letting everybody know, smash that like button. Definitely.
But For
Go
me,
ahead.
those are the biggest issues. General Hux, Phasma, and the planet until it was explained.
And
And I guess if I
no
had
mention of Snoke.
I actually liked Snoke. Like I thought he was kind of mysterious. It was a little bit different. I guess again, anything that's going to get people talking after the movie, that's what I liked. People were this was all over the place. Like there were like if I was on YouTube back then, oh my gosh, the content that these guys are making, like Theory and Josh and all those bigger channels. I mean, oh, is it Mace Windu? And then they would have a picture of Mace Windu and Snoke, and they would have this one little crack. He's got a little crack in his forehead. They were matching it up. It was crazy. Is it?
Can
Is
you
it
tell me
probably?
who Snoke is without spoilers for the next two?
Can I tell you who Snoke is?
Yeah, without spoiling the next two, or will it spoil them? Like, who is he? Can you give me backstory on who this dude is? Like, who trained him? Who did he train in the Sith Lords? And I don't get it
It would probably ruin it.
because all I've known is Plagueis, Vader,
Oh, that was another one
Palpatine,
too. That was another one. People were like, "Oh, is that Plagueis?"
Maul,
Yeah,
yeah, and Vader. So I only know 5.
I probably shouldn't tell you. It'll probably ruin it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, yeah, I like the character. I don't like the design of the character. Like, I get it's alien and it's all this kind of race, different races of stuff, but yeah, it feels like he could just flatten any of the Jedi with his foot.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that next Sunday.
Okay.
When we break down The Last Jedi, we can talk more about it, and I'll be curious to see what you think. And then I'll give you some backstory on him too. What else?
I wrote here, what's Rey's backstory? No build for Rey at all, just instantly knew how to do all these things that trained Jedis take years to learn.
Yeah, I know, I agree. But again, that's why it was so intriguing because they're like, okay, I think they play off the fact that she does have a staff. So it's probably a similar style weapon. There were rumors that she was going to have a dual side lightsaber at some point. The one like Maul. Again, like there were so many theories and questions and everything about after this movie that got people so excited. I guess another thing I didn't like how they made Han like a deadbeat dad. I don't like that him and Leia ended up not even ending up together because we left off and we saw what happened in Return.
Had Leia already passed at the point of this movie coming out?
No, she didn't pass until after the next movie was this film.
Oh, so all this stuff in this movie was really her. It wasn't CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's not CGI'd in any of the films,
except for Solo.
Well, but that's young Leia, though. Yeah. But even in the last movie, they what they did is they ended up using film and footage from the previous 2 movies. They either edited the film because or it was unused footage that they never put in the movies, and they basically and so like it's hard because in that movie her character is not great. But there's what are you supposed to do when your actress dies? If you didn't want to CGI her, they were kind of stuck. So that part in Rise, I kind of I give them a pass on that because I get it, but that doesn't explain the rest of the movie, of course.
And I believe her actual daughter was in this movie as well. I believe she was standing next to her in one of the scenes.
Yeah, so she has a very small role in this movie. Her role is a little bit bigger. I mean, her role is never huge. But she's definitely in the next 2 a little bit more. But yeah, it's Lieutenant Connix is her daughter. Yeah.
So I also wrote down here. So all this story where you're looking for Luke and we get him at the very end. Great. Oh, I guess that's why the next one's called The Last Jedi. Wait, I like that title. That's what I wrote.
I know. I like the title too.
Yeah, and then I went into a whole bunch of like coincidences. BB-8 happens to come across Rey, who is Force sensitive, who happens to come across Finn, who was once a stormtrooper, now has a heart-changing moment when they capture the owner of BB-8, Poe, who helps them escape because he needs a pilot. Then they get separated on Jakku, all the time wearing the jacket that BB-8 will recognize and point him out later on. It was just all coincidental, Yeah. But that was just because I don't want to shit on it too much, but.
But I mean, you can say the same thing. I mean, what they took the escape pod, the droids took the escape pod, that let them right to Luke. I mean, talk about coincidence. I mean, and they had to go through the Jawa, and then look, we're trying to sell these droids. we'll buy these two. But again, there's a fan theory out there that R5 new, that's the droid that blows a little gasket or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take R2 instead. There's a fan theory out there that says that R5 knew how important R2D2 was, and he did that on purpose, so they would take R2 instead. It is a cute little theory about that.
BB-8 is cool. He's no way near my favorite droid. He looks like a salad bowl fell on top of a football, and I want to cuddle him. This is what it looks like. It looks like a salad bowl fell on top of a football, and I want to give him a cuddle.
I like BB-8. I thought it was a good droid.
There was a couple of cool moments when he's on the ship and he's rolling around
up with his little flame. I like
yeah,
cool.
and some of the noises. I like when a droid makes me feel something. So when it was going and it was making the sad noises, I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I also did a little bit of research just before we came on air, and I realized BB-8 was actually voiced. It was actually humans voiced BB-8. It wasn't a machine. You know, they actually put human emphasis into it and stuff like that.
And I have his autograph.
What? How did a ball droid sign a Funko Pop?
Well, he was controlled by two different people. Here, I got it right here.
So did you get two signatures?
No, because the other guy doesn't do conventions.
Okay, let's take you big screen for this. There we go.
So there.
Oh, nice.
So
I like that they did it in that color too.
Yeah, he drew a little picture. And now I'm just trying to remember his name. I think it's Dave. I want to say Dave Chapman, but I'm probably wrong on that. I can look it up.
Yeah, no worries. So going through my coincidence list, I have so I ended up with all that time where they were wearing BB-8's jacket so that he could point him out. Then they come across the Millennium Falcon, and Rey just so coincidentally knows how to fly the Rust Bucket, I think she calls it. Then almost immediately they get picked up by the owner of the Falcon, Han Solo, who just so happens to be the father of the main bad guy in this movie, who just so happens to lead them to a strange creature that is in possession of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber for some unexplained reason. Rey is drawn to this because she is supposedly Force powers and is captured by Kylo Ren only to realize that she has powers that can help her escape. The big base has a weak spot, and we know this coincidentally because we have a rogue trooper in our midst. The ground conveniently splits in two, just like the plot line, so that we can move to the next two stories and the main two people can't fight in their first movie. That's where I ended, and then my score is 3 out of 10. But I'm going to keep it as a 3 out of 10 because there's room for it to get worse, and there's still room for it to get better on my ladder of scores. But you might think I've shit on this movie a lot for 35 minutes. I really haven't. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I laughed. I joked around. I wrote more notes this time than I have on any of the movies. So I think that says something, because it made me think more and it had more of an impact on what I was doing. So I'm gonna give it props for that. And I can't wait for the next one. I do believe I have seen the next one because, as we've already explained, my first Funko Pop was Porg. Because I watched it, I got it at the cinema the day that I watched this movie, or the next movie. So crazy. Anybody have any questions in the chat? Headless, I know that you put up a Instagram post up. Did you get any questions other than the ones I sent you?
I'm looking right now. Let's see. I always forget how to do this.
Papa Missouri says, dude, Chrome is super tough. Baby Ice liked BB-8. So cute. But you've got to admit, though, it's literally a salad bowl on a soccer ball.
You see a salad bowl?
Yeah, it's an upside-down salad bowl on top of a soccer ball. That's all it is. And welcome in, Kenneth Bird. Thank you for being here, buddy. Crazy. How's everybody's weekend been? I hope everybody won some bets and stuff and some cash over the weekend with the Super Bowl. Another year begins.
I don't remember what to do. How do I find this?
So you go to your story, then you go down to the bottom where you have activity, and then it should be at the top.
I got it. Okay.
And for everybody that is UK side, I would like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, because it is technically Tuesday for me right now, and that is Valentine's Day. So I love you all.
All right. So let me go through these questions you have.
Sure. Are they just from me, or do you have any from anyone else?
I don't have anything except for you from you.
Okay, so
We
I
can
am going to put it out there, guys. Please submit questions for the next couple of movies so that we can bulk up the last 20 minutes of these live streams and stuff, and we can have some good conversations from everybody with their questions. But yeah, go through them if you're able to answer them best you
Yeah, I
can.
mean, well, the one question we already talked about. Um,
Which one was that?
the Snoke one.
Okay.
You said who the Boba Frick is Snoke? How do you know about Boba
Yeah,
Frick? How do you
because
know
I've
about?
I've got a little because of the funk. I'm a Funko fan.
Yeah, I know. He says currently watching with 30 minutes left to go, and this is just a remake of A New Hope. So that's not
Yeah,
really a question and
yeah.
comment.
It's not really a question.
So no. What the f? He do that for for Han?
Yeah, why did he do that to Ham? Like, what the f?
So why'd he kill him?
Yeah,
So I thought that was actually a really important part of the movie because I think Kylo always struggled with did he want to be dark or did he was he how torn was he between both sides, right? And I feel like that was like the determining factor for him whether or not he wanted to go full on, try to be like his grandfather. And I think by that, and I think as the scene plays out, you can see he goes, I know what I have to do. I just don't know if I have the power to do so, or something like that. And Han's thinking about him. I think in Han's eyes, I think he's thinking, oh, okay, I think I'm actually getting into his head a little bit and getting him to turn. And then that's when he just kills him, and because he's like I'm going full on. So I thought that was
hmm
kind of I didn't really have a problem with that. Again, like you had said, I kind of assumed that Han Solo was going to die in this because of everything else that Harrison Ford has ever said about the character.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he wanted him to die in whatchamacallit, in
They wanted to die in
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Yeah, so no, can I tell you who my favorite character is in this movie?
Sure.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Kylo's a good character.
I really like Adam Driver.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably one of the second or I've seen him in serious roles that aren't really franchisey or aren't really just a normal human role,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like him in that in stuff like that. So yeah, he's really good in this, and he's my favorite character in this story. I just really hope and I pray that we get some backstory. I want to know how he knows about Vader. Like, do we find that out? Like, do we get any backstory as to how was he explained,
Well, I
or
think
does he just know about the history of the Empire? And
no, I think he knows that Leia is Vader's sister. I'm sure that was never. I'm sure they told him at some point. I mean, how
I,
else do we
and
know?
I got the gist that Leia sent him away to be trained by Luke. Is that true?
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
you will see more about that.
Okay.
You'll see more of that. So, um, the other
Cool.
question on here was, how does Finn know how to use
Lightsaber.
a saber? Yeah. So again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like that was like one of the big things is like, so is he going to be force sensitive? Again, we were hoping for backstory on that character, and we just unfortunately we just never really got it, which sucks.
Yeah, I even wrote in my notes. Are they going to Dumbledore Finn in the next couple of movies? And I say Dumbledore because are they going to have a romance? Are they going to it felt like there was more than just a bromance with him and Poe. Like Poe
Yeah.
seemed jealous of his friendship with Rey. I don't know. It felt weird.
I think they did that to just give the next movie or the next director some ways you could go, and they just didn't go that way. You
So
know,
did Star Wars change directors every movie?
well, it was J.J. Abrams, and then it was Ryan Johnson, and then after that they went back to J.J. Abrams. So you'll see when you watch these movies next week. Like if you can watch them back to back, and you really
I
know
will.
you'll notice some big shit because it's really really sad what they did. Um, yeah,
Okay.
you'll notice quite a bit. And the other thing too,
I'm not a massive fan of J.J. Abrams. I didn't know he did this.
yeah, JJ did it. He plays it safe, JJ, but again, I think after not having part of the storyline for 30 years, I mean, there's only so many ways you could have done, right? Like you had older actors, so if you didn't want to go the route of Luke being just a complete badass because Mark Hamill was unable to physically do it, there's ways. There's other things they could have done. Again, the whole point was this movie. They should have just used Rey. That's fine. You want to use a female, fine, but they really should have just made her Luke's daughter, and it would have everything else would have made sense. No, maybe she didn't go ahead and get training and stuff, but like I said, at least she was able to use the staff.
So she isn't Luke's daughter from that understanding.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I would have got on board with that. If she was Luke's daughter, I could have understood how she was just automatically powerful.
Right. That's why the lightsaber called her. It was part of her heritage, and there's there's other things that would have made sense more in this movie if that would have been the case. I mean, some of it makes sense, I guess, is why she can use a lightsaber that you find out later. It's still not as good, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe I shot up there about 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. I thought Rey was Luke's daughter. Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what the big rumor was. Like I said, or Han, because remember, Leia was Force sensitive, and Leia did use the Force. She and again, no, without spoiling anything, you'll see that a little bit. But I don't know. I mean,
who's your favorite character in this movie, Kylo?
So in this movie, I have no problem with Rey in this movie because I was intrigued by her, and I thought that there's just so much they could do because they didn't give us answers; they gave us a bunch of questions, and I was so excited to see what was going to continue and see how it was going to be, and am I guessing right or wrong? But I do like Kylo in this movie too. Yeah, like I said, we'll talk more about the characters next week because I don't really want to say much.
Yeah, because I do need to know. I need some I have questions. Like Rey, I think she says that she's never been off Jakku.
Yeah. Well,
how can she fly the Falcon better than I've ever seen anyone fly it? Then
I don't know. I mean, I remember that question coming up when the movie dropped. The only thing I could think of is that she was a scavenger, and because we see her inside of the Death Star, or not the Death Star, but the Star Destroyer that's crashed in the ground. She's like climbing through it. The only thing she knew about the ship sitting there, because that guy that she goes and she trades the parts in, and he gives her the portions or whatever, the food or whatever it is, and he at that point somehow owns the Falcon. So the only thing I could think of is that she has probably broken in there and probably taken a look at stuff and possibly just, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of like what that's what the internet says, I guess, about it.
I got freaked out because she's in the pilot seat with Han in the Millennium Falcon, and Han's trying to start his old trusty baby up, and she just says, "Just press that button there."
Yeah, I know.
So and I was like, wow, are you just playing the amnesia card on me?
So for tomorrow's video, that's going to be one of the questions I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask about the Millennium Falcon. Why can Rey all of a sudden let's see what they say.
Okay. Yeah, I do really enjoy your AI questions. I actually tune in for them every week to know. And then, Baby Ice has another question. She says, do you think Leia practiced the Force without a lot of people knowing?
Again,
we do see flashbacks of them training in the woods with Luke, didn't we, in the last movie?
In Rise of Skywalker, we do, yeah. So Luke trained her. Luke did train her, but I think what happened was after she became pregnant with Kylo, I think she stopped to become a mother. And obviously they did a real bang-up job, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do see a flashback of that. And then Leia continues Rey's training in Rise, which is a whole, minute and a half maybe, but,
And what's with the first line of this movie?
What was the first line?
He says something like, this is how we make things right. I was like, what?
Oh. Yeah.
Who's that?
So that dude is oh my gosh, what's his name? Yeah, he's not in it very long though.
No, he's not. I was like, what?
He is a guy. He when he was younger, he would go on adventures with Luke, and
Okay.
Luke in so he was given part of the map where Luke was, that little piece that he gives the BB-8, and that's what fills it all in, right? That at the end,
Hmm.
that's how they know how to find them.
And
So
where was Luke? Because it looked like Earth. Sorry to take you away from the question, but it looked like Earth.
he's on a planet called Octu, and
Okay.
that's
When
where
they
goes.
came in and we got the shot of the planet, it looked like Earth.
Yeah, it looks like he's like almost on like a little island in the middle of water or whatever. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
he's on
so he was Luke's friend, the guy at the
yeah,
beginning.
so he went on adventures with Luke when he was younger, and um, I think the comment means this is what's going to be to what was it? Did you ever you rate it? Read it?
I haven't. No, no. I've got it actually
Well,
open
this is
here.
where we
So
begin to make things right. I think you said. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
basically,
that's what he says. This is where we make things right.
yeah. I think because he's talking to Poe, and I think that's because they want to find Luke Skywalker to help battle the First Order, and I think they want to go get him and be like, listen, we need help, you know. So I think that's like the first step. That's what I mean. That's basically what the movie's about, is going to find Luke. The whole movie is basically about that, trying
Hmm.
to bring him on board.
And I literally like the first couple of minutes of this movie. I do like the movie, like I've said, but the first shots with the stormtroopers and it's
Mhm.
flashing, and that was a really, really dark and really,
Yeah,
really cool opening to the movie.
and then Kylo using the Force against the blaster,
Yeah.
against the actual like laser. That I thought that was pretty cool.
Can you explain to me why his lightsaber is crackly like it is?
Oh, like why it comes out the sides there, the cross
And
guard.
why it seems so unstable. Like everyone else's lightsaber is pure
Yeah.
and nice, and
So
his is like, you know,
yeah. So basically, it's because of the
it's a
kyber crystal.
badass saber.
Yeah, it's because of the kyber crystal he uses. The kyber crystal he uses is already unstable, and what happens is if he were to use it just as a regular lightsaber, it's too much. It would just explode. So he had to put these two side vents in for the cross guard, and that's what allows some of the power to release. So that way that way he can actually use it, because
Oh,
it's all because of the kyber crystal he uses. Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, it's my favorite designed lightsaber.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's something
Like I
definitely
like
different.
how they used to always just change the hilt because it was just a bright light on a different hilt. But now they've managed to make the bright light stand out and be different. And yeah, like could you imagine Darth Vader with that?
I know, right?
Would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the noise of it, because obviously I watch these movies with headphones in, so I get like haptic surround sound in my ears, and yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty intense when you hear it shaking and rattling in your head. It's like it's almost behind you.
Yeah, it's something a lot different, and but that's cool. Like as long as there's a meaning, like it would have been nice in the movie, just a quick little conversation, like even when he goes to see Snoke, I don't know
Or even
something.
seeing him put the crystal in the saber or something,
I don't know. I
and seeing
mean,
it cracked or something. Yeah.
yeah. Again, those are the small things, and that's what they use the comics and the books for, is to fill in those little gaps, I guess.
Hmm.
But
So I'm going to hit you with the one burning question that every Star Wars fan probably hates. But what do you think to know George Lucas?
what was
He
that?
gave up. What do you think to know George Lucas in this trilogy? He gave up, didn't he? He said no to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think he gave them ideas, though. I still think there's some stuff that was used from George. I just don't think there was a lot. I really don't. You know,
Okay, can you clearly see his detachment from it?
well, I mean, I don't think they didn't use what he wanted. Um, I think they used ideas. So in Legends, but again, this isn't even George Lucas either, though. In Legends, but in Legends, Han and Leia actually have twins. It's Jason Solo and what's the girl's name? Help me out, chat. What's their? I can't remember now. But and Jason Solo is actually in Legends. He actually kills Mara Jade, who is married to Luke. And
Oh,
yeah, did you watch that? If you ever watched that video that I posted on Mara Jade, she was a assassin of the Emperor, and then she ended up turning to the Jedi because of her feelings for Luke. Because what ended up happening was she was actually hired to go kill Luke in Legends, and they ended up falling in love. So she turned. And
Where'd you get this Legends knowledge from?
I mean, this is what it used to all be, dude. Like before we had.
Is this comic books and books and stuff that you're getting this from, or is this TV?
This is books.
Okay.
This is all in the book series by Timothy Zahn.
Okay. I might need to pick up a couple of books.
The original. I think the first book was called Heir to the Empire, and this is like the first introduction of Grand Admiral Thrawn, and this is what the story is about. And I think this is why so many people were so upset with it, because you had a great book series. Like, it was fantastic. It is such like I remember reading this in high school, and it's such a good series, and it just they unfortunately it was probably too late for all this, But not, again, here's my thing. Now that we have this deep fake technology for Luke, dude, you could bring a new actress in for like Mara Jade, and you can roll with it. It won't be the same story because we already have Kylo Ren is the son of Han and Leia. Before we have Jason Solo, because Jason Solo actually turns to the dark side. So I think that part they used, they just didn't want twins. They just used Kylo instead. Why did they change the name and all that? I don't know.
So where do we stand on the front of? I know after researching that George Lucas had basically nothing to do with this in credited wise.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know that he's sold the rights to Disney, correct?
Yeah.
So can he technically come out with his own sequel trilogy?
I don't think so, because he sold it for like $4 billion. Okay.
So, unless he can't use the same names, he would have to have a completely different franchise.
Yeah. I mean, he would have to get the okay from Disney. Again, I know they keep him on. Like, I know he had some say in Rise of Skywalker, because they butchered Last Jedi so badly that I know they asked him for some ideas.
Okay.
Again, what they used and what they didn't, I have absolutely no idea. Like, I don't know if anyone will truly really know except for him.
Okay.
But I know they brought him on board because they knew they had to fix some stuff. Like I said,
and I was watching a video before we came live, and quite a cool thing that I found out that they did a gender swap for Captain Phantasma and Snoke. In pre-production, Snoke was supposed to be female, and Captain Phantasma was going to be male.
Oh, really?
How do you feel? How do you feel about them doing that, switching that? Apparently, there was actual plasticine models made of Snoke, and it was a female.
No, I'm glad the way they kept it, but I'm just not glad the way the story of these characters played out.
Yeah,
because I think it's fine. I don't. The problem is that in lore, there's not too many female Jedi, or I'm sorry, female Sith.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I would have loved it to have been female.
Yeah, I
Sith.
mean, it would have been interesting if they would have done something that made sense. Like, so here's my thing. Like, I'll just tell you right now, Matt, Snoke is not Plagueis, but that's who they should have made him. You had it there sitting in front of you. You should have had somehow Snoke being Plagueis. What they ended up doing is terrible. And you'll see. I mean,
yeah, no, we'll get there. We're literally 2 movies left, 7 days, and we'll be able to reveal everything for the franchise.
But just to kind of just to summarize this movie.
Do you want to answer Baby Ice's question there before we go through the summarize? Who's the Bug-Eye Lady? I thought it was an animated version of Jocasta Nu.
The Bug-Eye Lady. So that is that's Maz Kanata. Yeah, I mean, and she just lives on her planet and supposedly knows Han and all that, and
PDX.
Again, it's just a random character that JJ created for the movie, and you'll see in the next movie, Rian Johnson did not like the character, and she's literally in the movie for about 5 seconds, and she's actually on a camera, not even in in person with the groups or whatever.
So is this next movie the worst of the 3 in your opinion?
I mean, it has to be, because it ruins the last.
Worst of the 9.
I mean,
is it the worst of the 9?
As a movie, the next movie is probably better than the last movie, but the last movie suffers because of what happened in this movie. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's like the whole Game of Thrones scenario all over again. You know,
You'll see, dude. Like
the last season
I'm,
suffers the main show because of what happened. I get you. Yeah.
I'm really gonna be curious to see after you watch the next two what you feel about this movie. Because I do like
Okay.
the Force Awakens. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it set up perfectly for the next one. Like, even in A New Hope, they didn't set up too much. Like they could have ended that movie with the Death Star exploding and never even revisited it before again. And there's not that many questions. Like there's the question of, okay, where did Vader go? Like we saw him fly off at the end. Okay, so fine, he's still alive, whatever. But like honestly, like what other huge questions do we have? We were told that Luke, his father fought with Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. Clone Wars, we probably had no idea what that was. Okay, it's a big war, like the Gulf War or whatever war,
Mm-hmm.
But there's no real questions that really, if we never got another Star Wars movie, I would have been fine with that movie ending the way it did. They all got medals, boom, 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 done. It's over. And no more Star Wars. But we got a great movie out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, I guess one question would be, well, okay, well, I thought Han had to leave because of the bounty hunter or whatever the reason. Yeah, I think he says that in A New Hope that he needs to leave because he's got a bounty on his head. Okay, so he came back to help, and then he'll take off. In this movie, there's so many questions, and that's what I really liked about it because I'm like, okay, they can make this amazing. Who is Snoke? Who is Rey's parents? Why does the lightsaber call to her? How did Maz
Finn
Kanata
can save the day at the end when he comes out to be the last Jedi. Finn.
Yeah,
No.
Is Finn is there anything with the Force with him or not? Now I don't think there's too many questions with Poe. I mean, Poe is just your rebel pilot. There's his character is I think Poe's character is really just for comedy. I really do. I think that's why they kind of put him in there because he doesn't really do. I mean, he's not even in half the movie. And in the original outline of the movie, Poe was supposed to die. They weren't. They weren't going to bring him back. Like
So when he crashes in the Starfighter.
when they crashed, that was supposed to be it. He was supposed to just have a short cameo, and that's it. And then they ended up keeping him in because of when they did film when they do like early they let people come in and just kind of take a look at what they got so far, and people were like really upset they didn't get to see Poe anymore. That's why Poe is really out of the movie for like a half an hour or 40 minutes straight in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and then he comes back. When they're flying over there to when Kylo comes down by Maz Kanata's castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's quite a while.
Do you think it's Snoke's way of trying to turn good, calling to her?
I'm not sure what that
Who
means.
did he call to? Did he call to Rey? I don't remember him calling to Rey. I think he.
Yeah, he doesn't know because Snoke only has like that one little scene. Really, he's not really
A couple of scenes. They go in and out of the chamber room to speak to him.
Yeah,
don't
but
they?
we never actually physically see him because we never really know how big he is because he's huge.
Yeah, we just see his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Umpty says it's like they didn't want anyone to figure out, so they flipped the story. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what people do. That's what Star Wars fans have been doing that for decades. Like I said, like I remember, I told the story before. Like I remember when I was a server and Phantom Menace just dropped, and in the back we would just write down questions about what we thought was going to happen, or answer questions about the movie because we had 3 years to wait for the next one. This is what we did. Trying to predict.
I'd like to put a question out to the chat. Who do you think is the Phantom Menace, chat? Because I'd be interested to know who people think it is. Okay, I will give you mine. I think it's Palpatine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's behind everything.
Yeah. Okay, I got that right then. I'm glad that I figured that because I thought they might have been trying to say it was Vader or Anakin turning to Vader, but no. Yeah.
He's too young still for that. Yeah, it's all Palpatine because he's all in the background of everything.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm just wondering if anyone else had any other thoughts.
Do you want me to bring up the rankings?
Hell yeah, we've hit the hour mark.
Yeah. So chat, let us know in the comments if what do you rank this movie out of 10? And I'll bring this
Yeah,
up here.
we had Derpy earlier on. Where did he rank it? He ranked it. Force Awakens. He was 7th in his list. Okay.
Seventh, okay. So after this conversation, what do you think? Where do you think it is in for me?
You said earlier on that it's one of your favorites, so I'm going to say 4th.
Close.
Baby I says 8. 8 out of 10. Wow.
Yeah.
And she assumed that it was Darth Vader that was the Phantom Menace.
No, it's definitely Palpatine.
Where did you put this? 3rd. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Let me take my logo off. There you go.
Actually, I have it above Revenge of the Sith. I think it's better than Revenge of the Sith. My biggest problem with Revenge of the Sith is that I think Mace Windu's acting is so overacted and it's annoying to me. And I'm not really a huge fan of the beginning of that movie because I think the whole Grievous stuff is terrible. I think they ruined that droid in that movie. They could have made him so much better. Even I do like the Count Dooku interaction in the beginning with Palpatine and all that, but I really like for as long as that movie is, it should have been about 40 minutes less, and they should have just got right down. And it should have showed more of Order 66. Like, I get it. Like, it was still PG-13, but if you're gonna get a PG-13 rating, then why are we not going more balls to the wall? Because PG-13, you can show a lot more than what they did in that movie. Like, I wanted to see Anakin go full out badass right before Vader, and I still think they didn't do it right. Even though I still love that movie, I gave it a 9 out of 10. But I think it could have been better. And in Force Awakens, I just love that Star Wars came back, and I love the questions, but from there, it just got ruined. It just got ruined. And you'll see that when you watch X2.
I look at my score and I think it's not a worthy score, but it's not not yet. No, it's not a. I'm going to get a 4, so you can put 4. It's a 4 out of 10. It's still my lowest.
Right. So I talked you up a point.
You did talk me up, and that's what these live streams do. They make it easier and they make it better for me. Yeah, because when I first started this, it was a 3 because I New Hope at 9 out of 10, and this was a carbon copy of A New Hope with new characters in my eyes.
I can't believe that. Like, again, the way I look at it is, if I was stuck on an island planet, I could bring one movie. You're telling me that you would rather watch Solo: A Star Wars Story rather than this movie?
Well, yeah, but the one movie I'm taking to the island with me is Revenge of the Sith. So,
well, I understand that, but like, if your choice was between just those two movies, you're like, oh no, I need Solo in my life with not one lightsaber.
Because at least Solo hints at a female Sith with Daenerys. Possibility with her working with Maul.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
At least there was some. That was a cool ending.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. Yeah, this one I just did not like. And I am crazy. She says I'm crazy. Oh my god, a 4. Yeah, not Vader. T says I think that the Phantom Menace was supposed to be Jar Jar, but since everybody hated him, it became Palpatine. Papa Missouri gave it 6 Jar Jars. Baby Ice has asked the question: do you think Rey is the true balance in the Force? No. I think there's somebody's secret that we haven't found out yet, but we'll see. I don't know. You guys have seen it. I haven't. Yeah. And Umpty also gave it an 8 too. So everybody's scoring this higher than me. But no, I just didn't enjoy it. Maybe it's like I said earlier, maybe it's because I have watched it in this way that I've watched it. And I have very fond memories of A New Hope. And I lay it out in this live stream, guys. You can literally put them side by side, and the way I said it, it kind of is a carbon copy. And okay, if that's what they want to do and that's how they wanted to reboot this franchise, but from the sounds of Headless's talk and everybody else's talk, the next one doesn't really go along with it. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, guys, definitely keep an eye out on these scores. Things are changing now. Like, I can see mine and Headless's stuff mixing up a little bit. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested next week.
Movie. So Umpty, 2025, they already said they're continuing Rey's story. I don't know if it's going to be another trilogy or if it's just going to be a one-off movie, but they already said they're going to continue her story. I believe that also introducing new characters, which so I don't know. I don't know if Rey will be the main character, but I know they haven't announced it, but I mean it's already out there like that.
I know. I like Daisy Ridley. She was good.
Yeah, I mean that like Umpty's saying that this is what they need to do. If they're going to if they're not going to retcon all of this in Ahsoka using the world between worlds, if they're not going to just say, "Oh, that's one way it could happen," and then all of a sudden something happens in the world between worlds, and the whole thing can get erased, or go to a different
I don't like the idea of that.
Well, right. Well, think about like the multiverse, the madness, all that.
Yeah, I'm literally just thinking Thanos.
That's exactly what the world between worlds can do. You can literally go onto a different path, and this would be one way, and then you could have a whole nother story going down another path.
Well, so then that would open up the fact that they could tell legend stories.
True. Yeah, they could. But I don't think they're going to do it either because of what they're doing in Mandalorian. There's definitely some stuff happening in Mandalorian that we've seen in season 1 and 2, and we'll talk more about this next week because I don't want to ruin anything. But we'll definitely talk about it, and I'll see if I can get some screenshots for you too.
Yeah, cool.
But I do think that this is what we need to do. We need to
smashed it on the head.
Yep,
Grogu is the balance.
Yep, that's what we need to do. We need Grogu to come into with Rey. I mean, so Mandalorian is it 25 to 30? It's like probably 30 some years before we get to Rise of Skywalker. So Mando would be how old at that point? Like in his 60s? I mean, what do you think? He's 30 right now. He was born didn't they say he was born during the Clone Wars? So Clone Wars, so he's about the same age as Luke right now. So he's probably he's probably about the same age then. Maybe just a little bit younger actually. Well, no, he actually be a little bit older than Luke because Luke was born. Well, no. Well, was he born in the Clone Wars or was it the Mandalorian? Oh, that fight.
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person.
I can't remember.
Baby Ice says that would be epic if Mando could be a Jedi. Mando will never be a Jedi because he's a Mandalorian, but I think it would be cool if Grogu is a Mandalorian Jedi. If he could be both, that would be cool. Christina Payne, thank you for stopping in and showing some love. We appreciate you. How are you doing?
Blah, 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 blah. Din Djarin was born around 30 BBY.
He was 50 in Mando, says Baby Ice.
30, yeah. I don't think he's that old. I think he's more like 40 something. Because he was born in 30 BBY, so that's 30 years before the first Death Star. And we talked last week how the movies go. It's only about 4 years between A New Hope and Return, and then Mando is 5 years after, so he's like 39 or 40, somewhere in that range.
Oh no, yeah, she was referencing that Grogu was 50. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Grogu's 50. Yeah,
Grogu's 50. And Christina Payne, I hope you get better soon. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, so Mando's 39, so he's definitely older than Luke because Luke was born in 20. What was it? Well,
20 BBY was it?
I think it's 20. I have to look it up.
You don't need to be sorry, Baby Ice. It's cool. I get what you mean because we were talking about Grogu and then you said he was 50.
So Luke was born in 19 BBY. So he's got Mando's got what 11 years on him. So I mean, okay. I mean he'll still be alive. I mean, will he be a Mandalorian? I mean, I don't know.
I think they missed a trick for a cameo as well. You know the guy in this movie that sells her the food credits? Yeah,
that's you know who that is, right?
No, who is it?
The guy with the big arms and stuff. You don't know who that is?
I was about to say, isn't he the guy that scratches his butt and cooks stuff and talks to Obi and the?
No, that's a different guy. That's Dexter.
Oh, well, it should have been him. It should have been Dex. It should have been him.
Yeah, no, that's Ingar Ploot or something. But you know what? The guy who plays it is Simon Pegg.
Oh, of course. Now you say this is why we do these breakdowns because it just made it better. There you go. Simon Pegg being in the movie gave it a 4. And then I want to end on a question of which stormtrooper was Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig was the stormtrooper where when she gets captured, he's like the one kind of guarding the door, and then she's like, "And leave your weapons."
Oh, you will. Oh, was that Daniel Craig?
Yeah, that was Daniel. That was Daniel Craig's cameo. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love it how someone can get a cameo and they don't even take the helmet off. That is unbelievable.
I know, right?
Like, I could tell you I was in that movie, and you can't argue otherwise. Just look for the short stormtrooper. That was me. As you all know, my slogan here today is stormtroopers are real people too. But yeah, guys.
Just ask Finn.
Yeah, I'm gonna flash up that one more time, and we're gonna give it a good 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's gone. You know where to find it if you need it, because you're gonna need it. I hope he's Yoda's son.
So
I don't.
No,
you do. No, I don't. I think they've already cleared the fact up that it's not Yaddle and Yoda's.
I don't know. I still want to know what the species is called. We still don't know that. Although, wait, didn't they? Wait, maybe they didn't announce. Wait, did they announce that? Oh man.
I genuinely don't think he is going to be connected to Yoda. He's the only connected to Yoda because he's the same species. I don't think he's family.
No, it's still unknown. When I do a search for what species is Yoda, it says unknown, and we have 4 characters that we know of that were
ET, isn't he? What species was ET?
I don't know,
because it's pretty similar, just without the long extended neck and the phoning home scenarios.
So we know we have Yoda. Here, I'll show you this real quick. Oh, here I can just do this. So we have this dude right here, Vandar Tokari. There he is, right there.
Okay.
So he was in the Clone Wars, in the television series. He probably was in 1 episode. So we have that dude, okay. And then we have the only other known ones are Yaddle. Actually, looks like there's a few up here.
We've seen the death of Yaddle, so.
Yeah, we have. So we have Minch. Who is Minch? Is Yoda called Minch? Minch Yoda, known by most as simply just Yoda, was a legendary Groglin male who is regarded as one of. I thought.
So they just gave away the species, Groglin.
I don't know. Is that right? And then we have Oteg. Who is Oteg? He served in the Jedi Order in the Galactic Republic. Oteg commanded the Republic's first fleet. Okay, well, I didn't even know these guys. I knew about these 4. I didn't even realize that we have more than that. Let me see if I get out of this. Yeah. So okay. So there's sort of 6 species, I guess, 6 characters. So was this one actually in Clone Wars, or maybe I'm thinking of this Oleg guy?
He's really the same species. He could be a robot to carry on the Jedi ways in the event that they all died. Okay.
So this dude.
Oh, a reboot in the create. Okay.
So I don't know. So I think he might have been in a video game. Actually, I'm trying to see if it shows where he's actually, because it sounds like he dies in Mandalorian Wars. It looks like. So
okay.
It looks like he's from the comics, though. When you actually look at that.
Cool.
Well, and I know this is the video game right here. So, but anyways, yeah. So there's 6 of them that we know of.
Cool. Well, there you go, guys. We've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank everybody that came in tonight and hanged out and talked to us about The Force Awakens. I will say that this movie has piqued my interest for the next 2, and this discussion and breakdown with Headless and myself has definitely given me more questions than answers, and that's what you said this whole movie does. So I suppose, yeah, I'm coming away from our breakdown with more questions, which I'm sure will get answered in the 3rd movie, because apparently the 2nd movie is going to be terrible.
You'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I am going to watch them back to back, and I want to announce here now that after all this Star Wars is done, I'm going to go live on one of these days of the weeks. I'm going to do a watch party for Clone Wars. So I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to have Clone Wars on. I'm going to be watching it and reacting to it, just like Carolina Chris did with some of his series. I'm also going to do for the Clone Wars. So if anybody wants to stop in and give me any knowledge bombs or anything like that, then feel free. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That'll be coming soon. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the Clone Wars because I need to be updated with this, and I want to watch. Is it the Bad Batch? Or no? What's the new one that's out now that we had 7 and 8 last week?
Well, the Bad Batch is out right now.
I seen a video that somebody did, and it was episode 7 and episode 8 of a new show, and I don't want to give spoilers, but Palpatine came back, and I was like, oh, this connects so much. Yeah, I see how it connects to all of the prequel stuff, and the prequels are my favorite, so I want to catch up and I want to get all this lore. So yeah, may the Force be with you all. Mm-hmm. Were you going to say something? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, yeah. Remember, Bad Batch comes out. Bad Batch is right in between episode 3, which is Revenge of the Sith, and basically between that and where Rebels is. Or I guess you can even think of it between that and Kenobi.
Tel Talks, thanks for being in, sir. I appreciate you. He's got a question. Hey guys, are you going to be doing a Mandalorian watch along? So what's the jack with this? What we're doing?
So I think we're going to do. I don't think we're going to do a watch along. I think we're going to just do breakdowns on Thursdays. We were going to do it on Wednesday, but we want to make sure people can watch it. Like I feel like sometimes it's hard to watch it on the first day and then get a lot of people in the chat. So I think we're going to move it to Thursdays, like probably at 7:00.
So that would be midnight in the UK.
Right.
Tel Talks.
Yeah.
Thursdays at midnight.
Yeah. So we'll be breaking it down on Thursdays, and
on your channel.
On my channel, yeah.
And then on Mondays we're going to go and do breakdowns. Did we say we were going to do that?
On what day? Oh, and Mondays.
On Monday?
Yeah, Mondays will be. Yeah, and then Mondays.
Slideshows. We're going to return.
Yeah, Mondays.
Yeah, on Mondays we're going to return the slideshows on my channel.
Yep.
And we're going to have fun like we did. And we're going to break down the episodes of The Mandalorian scene by scene, or just like notable scene by scene. And yeah, that'll be alive as well. So you can catch our initial reactions on Thursdays at midnight UK time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Is it your Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mondays same time, 7 p.m.
Yeah, and then we'll probably also on Mondays on yours we'll probably talk about what we think is going to happen next because it's only 2 days away. Then you figure.
Nice. Share Headless's channel. When I search him up, the character pops up. Only the character.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I took that over finally on YouTube. I mean, if you see a logo, it's probably me, but I thought I finally took over.
If the mods are in the chat, could you drop Headless's link? But yeah, I've got him. And yeah, guys, we have joined forces literally because we are now exactly the same subscriber count. We're both 478, unless he's gained any during this live. He's about to gain one now from Tel Talks.
I'm at 479 right now.
Right, I quit YouTube. See you later. Oh, crazy. No, I appreciate everybody showing the love to Headless Ned Stark and subscribing and stuff. And it's cool that we're now both on the same, the same level with our content and with moving forward and stuff. But he brings out so much more content than I do on a daily, weekly basis. So he's at it constantly, It's crazy. But yeah, no, don't be sorry. It's fine. Just make a second account so that it levels me back, right? I love you, buddy, and I appreciate you being here so late. I really do, because as you know, I hang out with my American friends all the time. So to have somebody from the UK being here at 1:30 in the morning it means a lot to me, because I've been training my body to do this for 2 years, so it's just natural. You still live, so don't you, Blaze? Yeah, we're about to go off.
Yeah,
he has to go with me if I'm late. He has to go with me if I'm here.
I know we were waiting for you to come chat, and like, where did Blaze go?
I know.
I thought Star Wars was your thing.
Yep, I know. Crazy. But yeah, guys, my name's been Ryan Milky, and I've been hanging out with my friend over there, Headless Ned Stark. He's the Star Wars guy out of us. but I'm slowly becoming it. Geez, fine. He's leaving. Anthony, I love you. Everybody in the chat, I love you. Thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody across the world. I hope that you all have a great day with your spouses. If you're single and you don't have anyone to share it with, just know that, you know, being okay in your own mind is fine, and being single is fine. You don't have to have somebody with you to have a happy life, because you come into this world alone, and a bit of a sad note, you go out of it alone too. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, like I say, my name's been Ryan Milkey. I love you all, and we'll see you later. Is there a funny clip we can play to end it? We'll do that one.
I don't know. Do it. There you go.
You can take us out with any final words.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if anyone's bored tonight, in about I don't know what time is it right now, 8. So it's 8:00 for me. Actually 8:30. I'm gonna be playing some Harry Potter tonight. I think probably about an hour and a half away.
So, I actually made something. Before we go, I want to show everybody something I made for you.
This is the same thing, is it?
No.
Oh, this is something different? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you first, and then I'm going to share it through Instagram to share on the stream. But I made this for you yesterday. Speaking of Harry Potter. I sent it to your Instagram.
Oh, that's funny, dude. I love it. You want me to pull it up?
If you want, I've got it though.
I got it. If you want me to share.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi goes crap when I try and do things like that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so for anyone who's watched me stream or knows anything about the game, you know, you're casting spells and stuff, and the one spell is Revelio, and basically what happens is because you have to like kind of cast it a lot because you're trying to find these different pages. So that kind of explains what this is going to be.
Yeah, I made a thing for Headless. And if you want, after this one, if you want to show the one I made for the Super Bowl, so there you go. Headless Ned Stark every 2 seconds. Revelio. I went to sleep hearing that noise. I went to sleep hearing the ching, ching, ching. I watched you for 30 minutes on that stairwell trying to find things.
It's crazy, hilarious. Man. But like I said, if you
do you want to bring up the one I made yesterday? If you got that one, the Super Bowl one, and we'll end on that. That was one of my funniest memes of the year.
Oh yeah!
If anybody's seen the Super Bowl last night with Rihanna, I made this that during the halftime show. It was hilarious.
I got it right here. That was
and
quick
remember,
work.
guys, for anybody that's watching these lives, you get to keep this stuff, because I know that later on Headless might go back in and cut these bits out for the podcast and stuff. But yeah, I made this Super Bowl 57 Donkey Kong Arena, and the little puffy feet, the little sugar puff men, whatever they're called. It's perfect.
I can't blow it up any bigger.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, cool. Thanks for sharing it.
Yep.
What Super Bowl did Anthony Blaze? Anthony, we're leaving. I'm not going to answer your question because you're like, geez, it's still here.
Yeah, dude, you were on the stream the whole time.
Stay puff, right? Well, thank you to all 8 people in here. I kind of don't want to go because there's 8 of you, but I'm going to go anyway because, yeah, I don't want to take up the airwaves for anybody else. Make sure you check out The Horseman tomorrow night. We're going to have lots of fun. I don't know if we've got any guests booked, but I think Poppy Missouri's hosting. I'm not even sure if we're going to have a full panel because I know that a lot of people have spouses and partners that they probably want to spend time with for Valentine's Day. So it might be just a normal chat with me and Charles or whoever else wants to turn up. But yeah, like I say, I love you all. I'll see you later. I'm going to hit the end in 2, 1. Now I've got